Super Lightweight Championship, and it is coming up in just a couple of minutes. Right now, though, we look at the challenger. Current NABF lightweight champion Frankie Mitchell stepping up in weight. One can only wonder what goes through a man's mind moments away from fighting the unsinkable Julio Cesar Chavez. Frankie Mitchell, an amazing comeback story, found homeless and on cocaine about a week before a recent fight. He won that fight and has hopefully licked a 5-year drug problem. And the champion, undefeated Julio Cesar Chavez, who says he's not overlooking Frankie Mitchell despite the fact that he's chomping at the bit to get at Hector Camacho. Wherever Julio Cesar Chavez fights, he always seems to have the home court advantage. His fans, loyal fans, follow him everywhere. 3-time world champion, returning to the scene of one of the most memorable fights in his career, the stunning and controversial win over Meldrick Taylor in 1990 to unify the WBC and IBF super lightweight titles. And how do they measure up? Let's check the tail of the tape. Chavez 30, Mitchell 33, 1-inch height advantage for Chavez. Chavez had trouble making the weight. Officially, he weighed in at 140, but appeared to be over. No protest was lodged by Mitchell's people at the time. And to polish it off, a 3.5-inch reach advantage to Mitchell. To the rules, according to the WBC 10-point must system. 3 judges scoring the fight. No standing 8 count, no 3 knockdown rule. Only the referee can stop the fight, and the fighter cannot be saved by the bell except in the last round. So we're just moments away as we stand by for the WBC Super Lightweight Championship. Julio Cesar Chavez and Frankie Mitchell, and in the audience, part of this huge crowd here tonight, interested spectators showered up after his Fourth round stoppage of Eddie Van Kurt. 2 fights to go is the Macho Man. Hector Camacho, who will meet Chavez should Chavez prevail tonight on September the 12th with a big pay-per-view showdown here in Las Vegas. So we're standing by to go ringside. So with that, let's go up to our ring announcer, Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we ask you to rise for the singing of the national anthems. First, on behalf of the defending champion, we have the national anthem of Mexico. Join me in welcoming to the microphone, Antonio de Jesus.
Mexicanos al grito de guerra, el acero a prestar y el bridón, y retiembla en sus centros la tierra al sonoro rugir del cañón. Y retiembla en su centro la tierra al sonoro rugir del cañón. Ciña patria tus sienes de oliva, de la paz el arcángel divino, que en el cielo tu eterno destino por el dedo de Dios escribió. Mas si osare un extraño enemigo profanar con sus plantas tu suelo, piensa, oh patria querida, que el cielo un soldado en cada hijo te dio, un soldado en cada hijo te dio. Mexicanos al grito de guerra, el acero a prestar y el bridón, y retiembla en sus centros la tierra al sonoro rugir del cañón. Y retiembla en sus centros la tierra al sonoro rugir del cañón.
Thank you very much to Antonio de Jesus. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing to lead us in our national anthem. Welcome the very talented local recording artists, Checkmate.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watch, we're so gallantly screaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much to Checkmate. Ladies and gentlemen in attendance and sports fans joining us around the world, we welcome you to the beautiful Las Vegas Hilton as Don King Productions, in association with the Las Vegas Hilton, present the main event of the evening, the WBC Super Lightweight Championship. This bout is sanctioned by the World Boxing Council, the President, Jose Sulaiman, the supervisor, Dr. Elias Ghana. Along with the Nevada State Athletic Commission, the chairman, Luther Mack, commissioners, Dr. James Nave, Dr. Elias Ghanem, Bruce Lane, and Nat Carasali, and the chief inspector is Mark Ratner. Introducing the officials as appointed, physicians at ringside, Dr. Flip Pomansky, Dr. James Game, Dr. Al Capana. Timekeepers at the bell, also keeping count of the knockdowns, we have Al Bisick and James Cavan. Presenting the judges at ringside, we have tonight Angel Luis Guzman, Art Lurie, and Omar Minton. Introducing the referee in charge of this bout, working in this, his 68th world title bout, Mills Lane. All right, fans, here we go. It's showtime. The main event of the evening, the WBC Super Lightweight Championship of the World, scheduled for 12 rounds of boxing. Introducing to you first the challenger on my right. He is fighting out of the blue corner, wearing gold trunks with red trim. He is hailing from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and he weighed in at 137 1/2 pounds. His fine record includes 29 wins, only 1 defeat, with 13 wins by way of knockout. He is ranked the number 6 lightweight contender in the world. Welcome the current NABF lightweight champion, known as the Matador, Frankie Mitchell. And his opponent across the ring. On my left, fighting out of the red corners, the defending WBC Super Lightweight Champion. He enters the ring wearing white trunks with dark blue trim, fighting out of Culiacan, Sinaloa, Mexico. His weight is at an even 140 pounds, and his tremendous record represents the longest undefeated streak in boxing today, with 80 wins, no defeats, 66 wins by way of knockout. Welcome the 3-time world champion, one of boxing's pound-for-pound greatest, el gran campeón mexicano, Julio Cesar Chavez. Once again, the referee in charge of this bout to give instructions, Mills Lane.
All right, gentlemen, this is for the championship of the world. You've gone through all the instructions one time. Protect yourself at all times. Any questions from the challenger? Any questions from the champion? Let's get it on.
Round 1 scheduled for 12 as Hector Camacho looks on, awaiting Julio Cesar Chavez, September the 12th. Chavez, generally a slow starter, usually works the body in the early rounds, hoping to accumulate punches, the cumulative effect, producing an easy knockout in the later rounds. Very economical puncher, and he can also take a punch very well.
And that's no surprise to most people. Mitchell come out moving, trying to use the jab, give him a little lateral movement. I'll be surprised to see if he tries to get inside at all early to hurt Chavez, or at least gain the respect that he thinks he needs.
Mitchell making his debut as a super lightweight, the 140-pound weight division. Touched on it before, just an unbelievable story. Prior to a recent fight, January 14th against Brian Payton, 3 fights ago, was found homeless, living in the street in a cardboard box on drugs 1 week before the fight. He trained 1 week for the fight and won it, a 12-round decision. His frustration began when he was undefeated, being turned down by top 10 fighters, suffered depression after his first and only loss for the WBA junior lightweight title in 1990. Through all of this, he was basically a small-town kid, overwhelmed by the big city, Philadelphia. His problems became severe. There's a right hand by Chavez. And as recently as this past January, was living in a box, literally homeless, hiding from his handlers. But he's come out in the open, Bobby, tonight, fights for his biggest purse, a reported $115,000 against the great Julio Cesar Chavez. What a story.
Well, you certainly have to give Mitchell a lot of credit. I mean, that's just a hell of a turnaround, and it takes a good man to do it.
Past the midway point of round 1, Chavez 80-0, 66 knockouts, has garnered 5 world titles in 3 different weight categories. and owns the longest streak of wins at the start of a career by any boxer in history. And of course, widely recognized as the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world.
What could possibly be said about him that hasn't already been said? It would only be repetitious. He does everything so very well. And Mitchell doing basically the only options that he has really here is moving, covering up.
But of course, at a moment's notice, Chavez has the ability to just turn it on, completely change the tempo of a fight to his favor, upgrade the quality of his punches, administer punishment, which really gets the crowd into a frenzy, which in turn gets his adrenaline going more.
Mitchell boxing a little southpaw now, switching back and forth, trying to confuse him a little.
Mitchell saw the marquee advertising Chavez Camacho September the 12th, which they put up just today. The report is he was not happy. There goes the mouthpiece of Mitchell.
Well, that's a mark of a prideful man to see. Just to be thought of as a stepping stone has to be offensive.
Very upset when he saw that. Final seconds of the first round.
And here we see Chavez backing Mitchell up to the rope, using the left hook, and there goes the mouthpiece, clean out of his mouth. To Mitchell's credit, he fought back hard. Here's the same thing from another angle. Again, constant pressure, back him to the ropes, using the double left hook. Again, mouthpiece and flying out.
Hook it. Wipe that stuff down a little bit. Wipe that stuff down a little bit, will you?
Hey, take that back.
Flip it to your Vaseline up.
Okay.
Okay, that's right.
You heard Mills Lane, who's also a district judge in Reno, telling the Mitchell corner to wipe the Vaseline off the face. How does Mitchell plan to fight Chavez? He told us by attacking the body, because he's usually in a low crouch. That's pretty true. There he is right now in that low crouch. The big weapon has to be the left hook, says Frankie Mitchell, and he'll try to keep the jab on the face of Chavez.
Unfortunately, taking an awful lot of risk going to Chavez's body. Something Taylor did get away with his speed. We'll see if Frankie can pull off the same.
And the chance of Chavez. Mitchell, as we said, is stepping up in weight. He says he pigs out, gets up to about 150, then comes down. Interesting approach.
I'm wondering if Chavez didn't take the fight as serious as usual. He looked to be a pinch over the weight, and 2 or 3 times took off his shorts, took off his undershorts in front of a lot of people, and just barely made the weight. To his credit, Mitchell is fighting back. He's throwing some uppercuts and some hooks. Nice combinations.
Mitchell really a fighter who has 2 styles. He can box, he can also trade punches.
There you go in there, come on.
He wants to jab and move early on, and it's only the second round. It is scheduled for 12. Chavez in his last fight against a game Angel Hernandez, close to 15,000 fans at El Torreo Stadium. You saw it here on Showtime from Mexico City.
All right, one step back.
Chavez just brings out such nationalism from the fans.
All right, get him up.
Doing the same from his followers here.
Something that impressed me in the last fight with Chavez, when he gets his man hurt, he doesn't headhunt, he goes to the body, goes back to the head, back to the body. A very complete fighter.
You know, we observed from his fight with Hernandez, a southpaw, that it didn't bother Chavez at all, keeping in mind that the September 12th showdown is against the southpaw Camacho.
He's landed a couple pretty clean shots, and Mitchell's taking them very well, not showing any real bad effects. And if you notice, his face is a little red, Chavez. Mitchell's landing some nice light combinations, but a lot of them.
And Chavez will always come in, willing to take shots, often has no regard for the punching power of an opponent. Mitchell has 13 knockouts in 29 victories. He's 29-1.
Get him up, Mitchell, come on.
A notoriously slow starter, Chavez, has been documented, and I think right here Mitchell's taking a little bit of shot.
The close-in fighting right above us.
You got that, Nick? Get him up, both sides.
Chavez told our Steve Farhood he is praying that he wins and he was praying that Camacho would win. Well, one of those prayers was answered. Now he's looking for number 2.
Well, this prayer's all in his hands.
Oh, a solid right hand at the bell by Chavez.
Don't load up. Just keep touching with them uppercuts. Bing, 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 boom. Keep touch 1, 2, 3, drop one in, right? Move your feet when you be punching, walking around. Move the feet with it. Breathe deep. Right. When I say underneath, go to the chin with them. Go to the body, from the body to the chin.
Once again, a very interested spectator. He knows the camera's on him, of course, so he gets up and goes into one of his antics. Hector Camacho asking what time is it? And, of course, the fans reply, Chavez time.
You know what really frightens me? I have 2 pairs of the same sunglasses.
Come on, let's go. Take us out of here.
Round 3 scheduled for 12. Frankie Mitchell, appropriately named the Matador. Well, tonight he goes up against the Bull.
Big left hook by Chavez, and Frankie Mitchell firing right back. Very impressive.
Well, Mitchell, no slouch. Rated number 6 by the WBC as a lightweight. Number 9 by the WBA. Number 7 by the IBF.
Right now, I think some of the left hooks to the body are really taking their toll on Mitchell. I think Mitchell embarrassed Chavez a little bit in certain points in the first round, and Chavez came back out here to establish who's in charge.
Mitchell does have a lot of heart, alluding to the point you made. In his first fight after his only defeat, he came back and won the NABF lightweight title. A second-round knockout of Kenny Weiss in July of '91. He's defended it 3 times, but now he steps up.
Here we see him switching to southpaw again, trying to confuse Chavez, give him some different looks, some different angles. Maybe effective, maybe not, but so far not too bad.
Well, the southpaw effect of Angel Hernandez in his last fight. Oh, did not deter Chavez, who just landed with a stiff right. An explosive right, and now Chavez looking to pour it on.
One of the better finishers in the game. This fight could be over this round.
And Mitchell is in deep trouble as he goes down for the count. Gets up at 5.
But he is still hurt.
So it happens at about the midway point of round 3.
He shouldn't just cover up on the rope here. He should tie up Chavez. It's the only way for him to get out and survive.
And like a shark sensing the finish, Chavez has him down for the second time.
4, 5.
Powerful blows to the body. Chavez has to get to the neutral corner.
He started yelling at Camacho, leaning over the ropes, and they're taunting each other right now in the middle of a fight.
You okay? Yeah. All right.
No 3 knockdown rule. 40 seconds to go. Can Mitchell survive the round? And he's fighting back hard.
Good left hook by Mitchell, right on. Stop Camacho right in his trap.
Another one by Frankie Mitchell. Mitchell landing 2 solid lefts to the face of Chavez, but Chavez, undaunted, spins him around and airs it out. There goes.
Again,
no, not a mouthpiece. Somebody threw something into the ring.
Again, the left hook, the only punch that's keeping Chavez off him. He's landing it, but not enough. He's got to tie him up and get through the round.
Mitchell cornered. And that's it. He made it through.
Mitchell is forcing Chavez to fight early.
Whoever threw that in here better not do it again.
Yeah, you're okay. Just relax. Kick the legs out, Frank. Kick the legs out. Don't move no water. God damn it, I'm using that 15. Jesus Christ. Let me see the other.
Mitchell gets hit on the ropes with a good right hand, gets in trouble. Chavez, a good finisher that he is, moves in for the kill. And somewhere along the way, he just drops down to the knee to take the rest. He's in trouble, and he realizes that it's almost over. Still working him, still working him. There he goes, down to that knee to take that rest. Again, he's back to the ropes. And again, he goes down to his knees. He needed the rest. Came back a little better after the second knockdown.
And it's round 4. 2 knockdowns in that third round, and Mitchell, with blood coming from the right nostril, surviving. Vincent Chavez is an overwhelming assault, and as Bobby pointed out, perhaps no better finisher in the sport today. Usually finishes with a barrage and a variety of punches from all angles, both hands. He tried to do it there in the third round, but Mitchell able to withstand it.
Mitchell's face showing the signs of the war. Looks as if he's gone 7 or 8 hard rounds already.
Amazing.
A devastating puncher, heavy-handed, and what a finisher. Accurate. He does it all.
Oh, what a straight right by Chavez, and Mitchell's down again. A thunderous shot by Chavez.
I feel it's safe to say this fight is either over now or it will be in a few seconds.
He's up at 9, but it's over. Mills Lane waves it off. It's all over here in the 4th round. A riveting punch by Chavez that ended it all. And it will be Chavez Camacho, September the 12th. TKO for Julio Cesar Chavez. Frankie Mitchell, very game, intrepid, as courageous as one can be against this gentleman. He gets hoisted. The WBC Super Lightweight champion retains his title. 81-0, 67 knockouts, his 8th title defense. There's his son, Julio, taking the ride, the victory lap around the ring with his dad. The relentless one, Julio Cesar Chavez, doing it once again. When he gets somebody in trouble like a shark at the sight of blood.
Well, here we see Chavez always being the aggressor. Mitchell backing up, trying to fend him off. Here he's moved to southpaw, trying to do anything. Gets hit with the right hand. I mean, he was timed perfectly. This fight was over.
So Mitchell surviving 2 knockdowns in the 3rd, but he couldn't get up from this one.
Here we see it again. A perfect straight right hand right down the pipe, timed beautifully. Fight's over.
Mitchell staggering around in the corner.
Again, one more time. Backing him up, looking for a shot. Boom.
And interestingly enough, as we check the official scorecards here, Bobby, one of the judges gave the 2nd round to Frankie Mitchell. How do you like that?
Well, everybody's got their own pair of eyes and opinions, I guess. It's just, it'd be hard for me to justify it.
Wow. But Chavez takes it TKO round 4, and he didn't let it go to the judges' scorecards here in Las Vegas.
He has such a good chin, too. When you hit him with just pity-pat punches, he'll catch him.
And Hector Camacho campaigning once again. All right, let's get the official time as we go up into the ring to Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have the time, 56 seconds in round number 4. The referee in charge, Mills Lane, stops the contest. The winner by way of technical knockout. He is still undefeated, still the WBC Super Lightweight Champion, Julio Cesar Chavez.
So there you have it. Julio Cesar Chavez, side by side now with the Macho Man. And he can lay to rest Frankie Mitchell and now set his sights on the big showdown in September with the Macho Man, Hector Camacho. Near sellout crowd here of around 9,000 at the Hilton Center in the Las Vegas Hilton. We saw some outstanding action here tonight. particularly the Julian Jackson-Thomas Tate fight. But right now, we've got the dignitary standing by in the ring with Steve Farhood. Steve?
Thank you, Steve. Julio Cesar Chavez, another tremendous win. Gladys Rosa, can you ask him, when he knocked Mitchell out, Mitchell turned southpaw, and he landed a big right hand. Was that a message to Hector Camacho?
Que cuando tú noqueaste a Frankie Mitchell, él se convirtió en zurdo. Que si eso fue, te convertiste en zurdo, que si eso fue un mensaje para Camacho.
Es un mensaje para Camacho, que con los zurdos puedo. Cuando se me cambió de zurdo fue cuando me sentí mejor.
That definitely, that's a message to Hector Camacho, that he wants to let him know that he can deal with a southpaw.
It's just a few weeks, 6 weeks to the big showdown with Hector Camacho. Given what happened tonight, how does Julio Cesar Chavez feel about it?
Queda 6 semanas para la pelea grande de Camacho. ¿Y tú cómo te sientes ahorita mismo?
Muy bien, dile. Esta preparación sigue y va encaminada a Camacho.
Says he feels very good. His conditioning will continue. He will be training hard, and he'll be looking forward to Camacho in September.
Did the fact that Hector Camacho scored a knockout tonight, did that impress Julio?
Como Héctor tuvo un knockout sobre su oponente, ¿eso te impresionó alguno?
De ninguna manera. Voy a noquear a Camacho el 12 de septiembre.
He says he was not impressed at all. He's going to knock out Hector Camacho.
All right, let's bring in Don King, the promoter of the big September 12th showdown. What do you think what happened tonight will do for that show?
I think it's going to be great. First of all, I want to say thanks to Tony Cox. Showtime is now #1 in boxing, unquestionably. These kind of fights, quality, competitiveness is what makes Showtime #1. And now we got the biggest fight of all, the two titans, the ultimate glory, the fight for it all, with Hector Camacho and Julio Cesar Chavez, September the 12th, and tickets are on sale now, and they're already going briskly.
Don, you seem to think that Hector can turn it around, as he did tonight, but against Julio it'll be a little tougher. You seem to think he can turn it around and give Julio a real good fight.
What you have now is Hector Camacho of old. You're seeing reflections of what he used to be, and now he's back training very hard, getting ready to fight, and you saw that today with the flashbacks, the way he fought this kid and he knocked him out. I think it was a tremendous outing, so it lets the fans know that they got a great fight in store for them, and that's what really counts, giving them the quality. So SET and King Vision is going to put it on September the 12th, and it's going to be great. Ultimate glory, the fight for it all, the whole enchilada.
Don, where do you go from here?
I'm going to Frito-Lay and find Roger Enrico, because this is a great promotion and Frito-Lay has to be involved. So, Roger, I'll be coming to see you. Roger Enrico, y'all.
All right, Hector Camacho.
Esperemos que no corra más Camacho.
He says he hopes that Hector Camacho will not run away anymore.
All right, we're not going to let Hector run away right now. Hector, come on in here. You were sitting right next to me during the fight. You saw Julio's work. What'd you think?
Well, professional speaking, a boxer like me, that's all it takes to beat him. I got the jab to keep him off, the 1-2 to hurt him. I got the speed, the movement, the lateral movement to keep him off balance all day. He'll follow me all day. It's a repeat of the Ramirez fight, but this is the ultimate glory for me, because y'all don't want to see the man do it. I am the Michael Jackson of the 90s, yes!
I almost knocked you out with the microphone there. I'm sorry, Hector. Hector, this is your camera right here, Hector.
This one or that one?
You fought, Hector, you fought very aggressively tonight against Eddie Van Kirk. Of course, that's not Julio Cesar Chavez. What kind of game plan can we look at when you fight the great Julio Cesar Chavez?
Well, you can see the same game plan that you've seen today, but more stronger, more effective, more professional, and more mastered. I am a scientific fighter. I needed a family. We got a family. He's a family too, but he's bringing out the best out of me. I needed somebody like him. I'm not scared. I'm just scared to lose.
All right. Well, there you go. Good luck to both of these guys. They're ready to go, and they'll be going on September 12th. We're going to be going right back now to Steve Albert at ringside.
All right, Steve, you deserve the Medal of Honor for putting up with that. We'll be back.